what we have achieved. We have achieved a lot, but with the financial construction on us, unfortunately, a lot of the work that we wanted to do couldn't be done. So strategy is there, the mission and the vision is there, but you needed something else to finish it.
Financial means to finish it. Mr. Imran, we'll continue this discussion about the municipal work, but let us take a look at the infographics of what the reform project of His Majesty King Hamad bin Isa Al Khalifa brought about of numerous changes in the economic, political and social fields in the kingdom. Welcome back, dear viewers, onto this live coverage of the parliamentary municipal elections in Bahrain. Mr. Imran, we were talking about the key performance indicators that will assess the strategies and action plan of the different municipal councils. We'd like to allude to the role of women in the legislative authority. Women are being celebrated. We are noticing a marked increase in women participation, and with the interview with our correspondent in the media center, Sarah Break, there was light shed on the important role of women in this sector. Can you tell us what your reflections are on that, on the growing role of women in the legislative authority?
2014, when His Majesty the King appointed the Capital Secretariat Council to become the first time that there is this setup, which is non-elected but appointed, with people with expertise, i.e. people who are engineers, doctors, lawyers, finance guys, whoever. You'll find that what's interesting in that, we have, among removing the chairman and the vice chairman, we have 50% women in there. So we have the number that shows you that the women have reached a stage at the municipal work that they can be of added value a lot more, and even though it might be a new experience to them, but that is not the case. You will learn as you go along, and anybody who has, we have lady medical doctors, we have finance persons, we have traders, we have trainers. So basically we have a certain number of combination which has given us 50% women participation in the municipal. More than that, we find that during the 4 years, women in the Capital Secretariat Council have led the sections. We have 4 sections. We have the technical committee, we have the finance and legal committee, we have the public relation, and we have the services committee. you will find that in any of those 4 years, we had, in most cases, we have at least one of the sections being led by a woman member of the Capital Secretariat Council. So that gives you that they are there and they are coming in strong. You will find that even in the other secretariats, even in the other capitals, other governorates, the women were there in strength also, and they were elected there. So it showed you that they even been elected as members of the municipality. So it is nothing now. And since we talked initially that they were given the chance to vote in the 1950s, so I think it's high time that we have now even a senior person that heads the municipality sections. There is no harm of the knowledge is there, I think, and they have a lot more a bigger heart than the men, you know, because they are mothers, and when they are mothers, I'm sure they have a lot more time to listen to things and patience than us men. But I hope that sooner or later we'll see a leader in any of the municipality, you know, as a woman leader.
Mr. Imran, you've alluded to the different committees in the council, and how do these committees relate to the responsibilities and the work of the municipal council?
This is interesting because I wanted to go into, when we talked about the responsibilities of the municipality, we talked about the primary side. There are other sections which comes in, which are secondary. Let's go, for example, to the technical committee. Technical committee is the committee which is in charge of making sure that the building permits, the urban planning area is looked at properly. People go and purchase the zawaya, which is the corner next to their house, because they want to expand their house. All those areas come under the technical committee. The urban planning is a very important part. Although it has a section in the municipality is called Works, Municipality and Urban Planning.
The ministry.
That section, most of the changes in the zone areas of lands or areas they come back to us for our approval. So that committee is a very important committee, and it needs to be headed by somebody who has at least an engineering background. Because the engineering background helps him when he's been working in this field. He knows what zone it is, what every zone, what it means, and so therefore he is communicating with the urban planners at the municipality easier. The other sections that we have is, for example, the services. The services is the area where you take care of the gardens, you take care of the roads, you take care of the walkways, you take care. So that's a section which also, to me as an engineer, believe that needs somebody who's technical also to cover that area. The legal and the finance probably need somebody who is, maybe the next appointment, there is a lawyer among the members, which is very useful.
True.
Because when you have a lawyer among the members, he will go through the things that probably us as engineers might not be very knowledgeable, but a lawyer will know the areas, because a lot of the laws that needs to be changed, that comes to us from the parliament or from the government to be looked at, and they ask for our advice. We don't have a lawyer. We have to get our lawyer of our sister company, like the capital municipality. But when you have your own, he's an independent person, and he will help for you to give the right decisions.
Mr. Imran, how do these factors, or how do these attributes factor in the election process? What should people look for in the municipal candidate they're voting for?
I think when you look at, there are three areas which is going into election, and the three areas very important that you'll find that some of them were successful last year, in the last 4 years, to be honest. some of them were very successful, some of them did not perform at all. The only reason is that if there is no teamwork among the elected members, then that municipal council will not do its job, will not do its job, and it will really reflect badly on the electoral function. I think what's important is that whoever going to vote, make sure that when he looks at the CV. He needs to see this guy, his background is what? If he's going to help me in enhancing my area that I live in, he must have a knowledge. He cannot just be somebody who can write and read and write. No, because that is not the purpose. You're talking about an infrastructure. You're talking about roads. You're talking about lighting. You're talking about cleanliness. You need somebody. So basically, I think maybe in the next stage there are bylaws that sets the quality of the people who nominate themselves for municipal work.
Mr. Imran, we'll come back to this point, but the Kingdom, dear viewers, is buzzing about today's upcoming elections and the development continuation of the political and democratic practice in Bahrain.
First time in our modern democratic process here in Bahrain, we have, through the Bahrain Center for Strategic International and Energy Studies, arranged for a national polling to foresee the views of the constituents of Bahrain for the upcoming elections. We are proud of our democratic process, but we would want as much as possible to include and involve the constituents of Bahrain and to seek their views and their aspirations and intentions to the upcoming elections in November.
I think we have to have representatives in the parliament that reflect the ambitions and reflect, frankly, the age and the sophistication of the Bahraini citizens. And I think we need people who will be engaged with the government, who can act as partners with the government. And so we cannot sit and complain if we don't go out and vote and make sure that we also choose the right people, that we see the options around. And I think it's important because we then encourage others to run for office.
Elections are turning points and a very important, the most important appointment in the life of every nation, of every country, in Bahrain, like in Italy. And, taking part, expressing the vote, the voice of the people, it's very important to forge, a common identity and to also to have a say in the politics which are, in the policies which are implemented in the country.
It is an absolute critical opportunity, like you said, not just for youth, but for all Bahrainis to exercise this, civic right, but also duty.
We need to reach our voices out there. We need to know what's happening in the country. We need to know where our voices are, who's standing up for us, who's giving out our voices, who's talking on behalf of us, and giving our demands out there. So it's actually very exciting, and I'm really excited for the coming elections.
And viewers, everyone is excited today, and the citizens and residents, voters, are going to the polling centers to cast their ballots.
I can see the people there more than I think so last time. According to the newspapers also, that abroad this time also the people, number of people are more than before, and I hope so that the vision of King Hamad, it will be more effective. And in coming years, we will see the more democratic values in regard through this election. And I hope that the new coming parliament members, they will see the problems of the people of their constituency, and they will fulfill them according to their issues, according to their wills. So this is my vision. The voting process is very easy. I came at 10 o'clock, so I can see there is no such kind of any hurdles, any problems, and more people are coming more people are coming now to participate in the future as well.
Well, it's excellent and very easy. There's no problem, very manageable, it doesn't take time, and we have to participate in this. All these people, Bahraini or whatever, that they should come and do the participation so we can see the people who are selected for us, and then we can, continue for the country, to development, for everything. It is very easy, very comfortable, no problem. We didn't have to wait just 1 minute here, second minute there, and third minute we are out. I mean, before also we did, but this time I feel it is very easy and more comfortable.
Welcome back, dear viewers, to this live coverage of the parliamentary and municipal elections happening today in Bahrain. Mr. Imran, we've just seen these interviews with some of the residents that went out to the polling stations to vote for their municipal candidates. And we've alluded to this in previous questions, but in order to further stress the importance of this move, Bahrain is implementing perhaps an unprecedented move compared to other countries in the region and the wider globe, allowing residents who have purchased residencies or places of residence in Bahrain to participate and have their voices heard through a municipal candidate. What is the importance of this move?
Yeah. Looking at the person who has just been interviewed, it's interesting to see that he is probably an expat who owns, maybe he might own a small flat or something like this in Bahrain. He might not be a big investor, but at least he went all the way to participate in putting his vote, and so at the upgrading the area that he is utilizing. And that is very important. To me, I think what's important is that the participation, especially in the Capital Secretariat Council, we have 300,000 expats living within this area. We have 121 blocks. 45% of the area, the demography of Bahrain, is under the Capital Secretariat Council. And if those 300,000, maybe now they are not eligible to vote, but I mean the ones that are living in the northern and the southern and the Muharrak areas, they need to go out, because it is basically their vote which might put the right person in the right place. And I think that is very important. This gives Bahrain that really edge among the rest of the countries around it, is that the expats can vote for the betterment and wellness of the area that they live in.
And this also reflects the openness of the Kingdom of Bahrain, be it through the government or the people, and the tolerance and acceptance that has been instilled in our society from the very beginning. Mr. Imran, if we are to talk about the collaboration between, we've talked about the collaboration between the municipal bodies and the private sector. What about the importance of the collaboration between the municipal bodies, be it the elected ones or the appointed ones, with the government bodies in Bahrain?
One thing very important is one hand cannot clap. That is a saying, we have it, يد واحدة ما تصفق in Arabic. In English it's probably the same. And I think without working with the different government sectors, we should be able to sit and talk to the different ministries, because our aim is to improve the areas that we are responsible for. And the ministries that are in charge of, let's talk about the main ones. Ministry of Works, electricity and water, housing, civil defense, which is basically civil defense, urban planning, Ministry of Labor, because there are certain regulations regarding labor accommodations. You have the LMRA, which part of the Ministry of Labor, Ministry of Information, because you need to be part of that, because if you want to convey the improvement of the environment or improvement of the roads, you need to be in good relation with the ministry in charge to help you in reaching the
mass communication.
Masses,
yes.
So there are a lot of ministries, and I always believe we should also have a good relation with those, and we found that we had never had a problem, honestly. Every single ministry appointed a coordinator who was in charge to coordinate with the municipal councils. So it existed from day one. Every single minister did appoint them. But the important thing is there should be a follow-up. You know, when I come up with an idea and I say, okay, let's improve this road because it used to be one house, now it has 100 houses around it, so that road has to be done. It might be, the budget might be restrained, but at least let's try and improve it. Not 100%, but at least 50%. So these are the coordination and the workmen. We need to work together with the ministries because without that we will not achieve anything.
Hussein Imran, people in Bahrain are going to the polling stations now to elect their parliamentary and their municipal candidate. How do these two candidates work together in order to serve the interest of the citizens?
I always believe that like we said before, one hand does not clap. One hand does not clap. The two together really should be working from day one, especially that, you know, when you have the parliament, you know that the guy in the parliament is the one who can call the minister in and ask him questions, or he can ask for a change in legislation, or ask in the change of laws. And if you are not part of that and you need his support, I always believe that the two together should work, especially that on the election side, because each one, there are two in each area. Area number one, you have a parliament and a municipal member. Together, I think, very important. And there should not be that, oh, he's taken my part of the work, and no, that is not important.
It's a collaboration.
You're all serving the community, you're all serving the people of Bahrain, and you don't need to have that ego problem. They should all sit down together and work together. As a municipal council and as a parliament, member of parliament.
But Mr. Imran, what about the constituents' expectations? If I, as a constituent, for instance, have a problem that I want to raise, when do I go to my municipal candidate and when do I go to my parliamentary candidate?
Anything to do with the day-to-day running of the area that you live in, it is basically your municipal representative, 100%. The only time that you need to go to the parliament is if there is an area which you need to increase the finance of a certain sector, that only him can raise it in the parliament. A budget of a road, or a budget of a health center, or a budget of increasing the number of social housing. That one, the municipal member cannot do it, but I believe they should work together.
Together, yes.
They should sit and put a plan together. They should put a strategy together. If they do it together, there will always be harmony. And with teamwork, you will achieve a lot more than one person on his own.
Mr. Imran, you mentioned that there's people of several professions serving in the municipal council. You said
Capital Secretariat Council. Yes.
Capital Secretariat. You have physicians. You're hoping to have a legal body.
Legal bodies, yes.
Yes. Why is it important to have these different walks of life serving under one roof in the purpose of municipal works?
Municipal work, because it involves finance, it involves technical things, it involves urban planning, it involves legal and regulation that comes to us from the parliament, legal. It involves the finance. You are talking about the last year, I think we had a budget, our budget, a turnover about maybe, we've reached 100 million dinars from income. Don't forget, the Capital Secretariat Council, which covers this big area, has the biggest number of buildings that are rented, and the 10% goes all into the kitty of the Central Municipal Council. Which, okay, it is not, we cannot utilize it, but I mean, it all comes from there. This amount of money is, can be, it goes to the finance, but you can ask from the finance, okay, I need to develop this area. Please increase the budget that I have. So that is where you are looking at, we talked about it in the beginning, that we sit and discuss every 3 months the financial situation of the capital municipality. The committee that is in charge, which is in charge of finance and legal, sits and discusses every 6 months. At the end of the year, they have to authenticate those, like audit basically, those accounts, because you want to ask, where did the money go? Did it go to maintenance? Did it go to gardens? Did it go to walkways? Where did it go? You need to maintain that and you need to control that.
Mr. Imran, we'll continue our discussion regarding municipal work, but now we are joined by our correspondent, Hiba Abdel Ghaffar, who is at Al Ahd Al Zahar School polling station at the Northern Governorate. Hello, Hiba, do you have any more updates for us?
Hello, yes, we are witnessing here a very large participation. People from all age groups are here. You can see the elderly here who don't only believe in their history in developing Bahrain, but also their role in its future. You will see here people with special needs who, of course, find all the proper facilities and organizers helping them every step to continue their balloting process smoothly. I've even seen a little girl with her mother asking if she can cast her ballot as well. So this is the sense of responsibility we're talking about here. And of course, the highlight today is the participation of youth. We have 5,000 new voters this election, which means a large number of young voters who now have their say in who represents them in the representative council and the municipal council. There have been a lot of awareness campaigns before the elections regarding the role of youth, their political role and their national duty. And I think this is what is reflected here today, not only in the number of voters, but also in the organizers. The organizers are hundreds of volunteers of youth here today who are helping this event happen and be a success. That's all for now. Do you have any more questions?
Yes, Hiba, I can see, throughout the rushes today from the different polling stations in the different governorates, I can see different age groups. I see a child behind you right now with what seems to be her mother, people on wheelchairs, people of special needs, different age groups coming together and practicing this democratic right. From your conversation with people out there, what is the sense, what is the feel that they have coming to vote today?
People are very, very positive. You can't believe this. They're very positive. They believe in His Majesty the King's reform project. They believe in their national duty and their right to roll and be a part of this. They're very excited about choosing who represents them in the representative council and the municipal council. I see families, I see groups of friends, a lot of people coming here. They believe in their candidates. They believe that those candidates will be their advocates, will be their representatives. They will convey not only their issues, but also their dreams.
Thank you very much, Hiba. We'll get back to you later in the program. Thank you for your update. So we continue our conversation with Mr. Mazen Imran with regards to municipal work.
It's interesting to see what Hiba was saying,
yes,
honestly. And we found that in the 4 years that we were in the Capital Secretariat Council and our relation with the other Secretariat Council members, we had a very good relation with the other members. We had no problem at all. We were all working together as one team because at the end of the day, we're all doing it for Bahrain as such. And we found that most of the good municipal council member is an ideal candidate to become a parliament member. You found that 50% of the members that were council members, municipal council members, have moved into the next stage. And that is very interesting because he has already got close to the people, worked with the people, saw the requirements that the infrastructure, the roads and so on, and their gardens, the requirement. So when he goes there and become a member of parliament, he can implement it by getting the right finance that is required.
That's a very interesting observation, Mr. Imran, that running for municipal office kind of paves the way and is a platform for you to run into the parliament office, especially for someone who does not have any political experience, perhaps, who goes there, gets engaged with the community, raises the concerns and manages to communicate them to the higher bodies and then be able to serve them in
I can answer on that very quickly.
Yeah.
Luckily, we had, during the period of 4 years, all the 4 governors we had a very intensive training sessions that was being paid by the ministry as such, the Ministry of Municipality, and we were trained at the Bahrain Institute for Political Studies. We had a regular, we went through 8 sessions, or 6 or 8 sessions, and we were even given a certificate of completion of that for teaching us how to address the work, how to address the municipal work, how to address the parliamentary work, how to ask for your rights, bring the question the Director General, and so on and so forth. So most of us in the last 4 years have been trained very closely, whoever attended. It is important that you attend because you need to have at least 6 out of the 8, you need to attend them before they give you a certificate. But this paved the way for a lot of them. Now they've reached a stage of maturity, I think, after 4 years, that I think they will do a good job in the parliamentary jobs, in the parliamentary year.
I'm told by the control that we are joined by our correspondent, Shog Mohammed from the Isa Town Primary School polling station at the Southern Governorate. Is Shog ready? Okay, so we'll get back to Shog, but Mr. Imran, if we go back to the responsibilities of the municipal council,
interesting. Yeah,
I know it's a bit
we haven't gone through
exactly.
Most of them.
We just touched on
I
the
think,
highlights.
yeah, we went initially in the beginning. We talked about the primary ones. There are other areas which are more supervision, and we keep an eye and we follow up. For example, the things related to lighting on the roads. We are not directly involved, but we have the responsibility as a Capital Secretariat Council to go and tell the ministry involved, Ministry, for example, of Electricity, that these areas needs to be addressed. The lighting is low, it's not good for security, it's not good for the environment, and so on and so forth. There is one area. Other than that is the sewage system. This is an area where we always got involved in because it affects a lot of the people, especially the new areas that has been designed, the lands has been distributed and sold, and there isn't the sewage system. Today, you cannot pump every 2-3 days your sewage tank. It has become a difficult thing.
Mr. Imran, I'll just interrupt you there so that we can go to Shog and then we'll come back and continue the discussion. Shog, are you with us?
Yes, I'm with you. Thank you, Mohammed.
Can you describe to us the level of participation there and how smooth is the voting process going?
Well, the level of participation is consistently increasing. As I mentioned before, the place is massive, so I'm very impressed by how quickly the place is filling up and is continuing to stay full. The doors have been kept open because it's just so complicated to keep opening and closing them. So they've just kept them open and people are coming in. There's families coming in of all ages, and I'm just very impressed with the determination and the patriotism of people. Everyone is very energized today. I think everyone feels a sense of responsibility and everyone is eager to carry out their civic duty here today. And I think it's very important to remember that we are given this right by His Majesty King Hamad bin Isa Al Khalifa and the leadership of Bahrain. So I think it's very important for us to appreciate these rights that are given to us and to come here and perform our national duties.
Shog, it's indeed very satisfying to see the number of people behind you. I see a strong presence of women voters as well. From your conversation with people there, what are the reflections on the women voter turnout and the women candidates running for office this year?
On the subject of women, I feel like women this year feel very excited to participate just based on the high level of women candidates. The number has been higher than ever before, and I think that inspires women, young women, older women, women of all ages to come out and participate, whether it's to encourage women, whether it's to support them, or whether it's to feel that they are part of this process. Because they are being very encouraged. The organizers have been more than supportive to women, to young women, to older women, the women in wheelchairs. They've been supporting them throughout the process. They've been making things very smooth for them. I think an important part of our democratic process is political participation, and of course women are a very important part of that, and they realize that, and they are here today to go through with that process.
Thank you very much, Shog, you as a Bahraini woman there and aiding us and giving us this message from the polling station. You are definitely doing your duty, your part of your of duty in covering the election media campaign. Now, viewers, the number of candidates running for the municipal elections this year is 137. The number of voters eligible to cast their ballot is 285,991. Of them are 1,404 and 2 are males, and 141,909 are females. And now we review the data of the Southern Governorate and its electoral constituencies. The number of voters in this governorate is 79,259. Of them, 39,973 are males and 39,286 are females. 42 candidates competing of the Southern Governorate municipal elections for 10 seats as follows. Welcome back. And the number of candidates running for the parliamentary elections this year is 291. The number of voters eligible to cast their ballot is 365,467. Of them are 183,729 males and 181,738 are females. And now we review the data of the Southern Governorate and its electoral constituencies. The number of voters in this governorate is 78,492. Of them, 39,677 are males and 38,815 are females. The number of candidates are 61, competing for 10 seats as follows. Welcome back, dear viewers, to this live coverage of the national parliamentary and municipal elections in Bahrain today. I'm told by the control that we are moving to the media center now. Is Sarah Break ready? And about the okay, she's not ready yet, so we'll continue our conversation regarding municipal works with Mr. Mazen Al-Amran. We were talking about the different responsibilities of the municipal bodies.
We talked
in
about
Bahrain.
the primary before, and we talked a little bit into the secondary ones. And I think the secondary ones there's quite a few of them, but basically there are areas where we can forward a recommendation. There are certain areas where we can recommend. Maybe it is not within our restriction, but at least we can recommend it. For example, the roads. If we feel there is a certain area in our municipality, in our constituency, which needs to be upgraded, we have the right to do a drawing and submit it to the Ministry of Works and say this has to be upgraded. We believe it needs to be upgraded because from our discussion with the people that live in that area, the residents, they believe that it has reached a stage where it needs to be upgraded. So that is one side on it. Then we need to do with public health. Public health is important. Where we find that there is a lot of people living in an area without a health center, we need to recommend to the
building
a health center. It has to be according to the area, the number of people. Now that they have given, we have now Sitra part of our constituency. Sitra is a big area. It has a lot of people living in it. So there is a health center, but maybe there is a need for an extension to the health center. It needs to get bigger
because of
the number of population that is there. There are other areas which you look at is for especially schools. We haven't gone into that. It is not under us because it's part of the Ministry of Education, but at least we have the right to recommend by looking at the area. For example, if we find that the school that exists is in a bad situation, one incident we had in Jid Hafs where we had to go and do a study on it, a technical study on a school which exists, and see how much we need to upgrade it before we need to build a new school. Because most of the schools have reached their age, 40, 50 years, I think long enough. I'm talking about structurally. They need to either be upgraded totally or you need to build a new school. And the number that has increased, for example, in Jid Hafs, needs a new school, for sure. So these are areas which schools, car parks. The Capital Secretariat Council has a major problem.
Yes.
You cannot, any time of the day, I'm not talking about there is a peak time or not, any time of the day, try and get and enter into Manama, in the middle of Manama, try and drive through its roads. It is impossible. Cars are parked on the right and on the left. And there is and even when there is a truck needs to go in the middle, can't go. So we started looking at upgrading those internal roads and see any empty plots, which can be either, if they belong to a government sector, we put a hand on it and change it into a car park, or find areas where we need to purchase the land and make it a car park. Because at the end of the day, the Manama will reach a stage where everybody has to walk. The inside, the souk of Manama, from Bab al-Bahrain to Souk al-Maqasis, which is in the southern area, it's not that far, it's now become so congested. The roads are so narrow. We have 650,000 cars on the road today. And Manama is the center part, and a lot of the businesses are there. So a lot of people come down, but we don't have enough car parks. We have open car parks. All the open car parks that we have has to become multi-story. We need to look at that area, and these are the areas where we can, as a municipal council, recommend it. Names. As a part of our responsibility, we look at the names of the area. We know who lives in this area. Blad al-Qadim, who lives in it. Sitra, who lives in it. We can suggest names for prominent people who lived in that area.
Yeah.
And that is part of our responsibility. But we don't end up. It's not a decision made by us, but
Just
at least
proposals.
we propose it. It goes to the committee in charge, and at the end of the day, when it goes to the Prime Minister's office, or to the Prime Minister's office, then it is approved. But mostly, we know the area and who lived in it, and why we are suggesting the names, because we have been doing our due diligence to see that area, and most of the residents of that area will come back to us and say, there is just a guy who has been a teacher who has taught for a long time, or he's a person who lived in the area and given a lot to the area, to name a road where his residence is. So this is one of the secondary responsibilities that we can propose. We talked about the corners and the Jube, which we said that before.
So we will explore this further, but let's explore the candidates a bit further. We explored the southern candidates. Now the number of candidates running for the municipal and parliamentary council this year is 137. The number of voters eligible to cast their ballot is 285,991. Of them, 1,404 and 2 are males, 1,400 and 1,909 are females. And now we review the data of the Northern Governorate and its electoral constituencies. The number of voters in this governorate is 126,668. Of them, 36,690 are males and 62,978 are females. 58 candidates competing of the Northern Governorate municipal elections for 12 seats as follows. And we are continuing with this live coverage of the Bahraini parliamentary and municipal elections today, Saturday, November the 24th. We will take this short break and we'll be back to continue our discussions.
بحريننا هي أرضي وبلادي تسكن في روحي ودمي وفؤادي بحريننا هي أرضي وبلادي تسكن في روحي ودمي وفؤادي
والله بلدنا ملحها حالي محلى بلدنا صاير اسطورة والله بلدنا ملحها حالي محلى بلدنا صاير اسطورة
حمد ملكنا الوالد الغالي يرفعنا حبه ويا دستوره حمد ملكنا الوالد الغالي يرفعنا حبه ويا دستوره
غير المحبة احنا منوالي ونوالي شعب صاعد بنوره
باسم بحريننا قلبي مولع وبأهلها أنا قلبي مولع في هواها أنا قلبي مولع وبثراها أنا قلبي مولع قولوا ما شاء الله
ما شاء الله لا إله إلا الله
سموا باسم
قولوا
ما شاء الله
ما شاء الله سموا باسم الله
بحريننا هي أرضي وبلادي تسكن في روحي ودمي وفؤادي بحريننا هي أرضي وبلادي تسكن في روحي ودمي وفؤادي
هوا بلدنا ما نبي غيره يسكن صدرنا في تباشيره هوا بلدنا ما نبي غيره يسكن صدرنا في تباشيره
الحب حبنا والصدر واسع يحمي بحرنا وكل بحاحيره
الحب حبنا والصدر واسع يحمي بحرنا وكل بحاحيره
حق المعالي يا بلدناوي اسمك نجمنا في السما ضاوي باسم بحريننا قلبي مولع وبأهلها أنا قلبي مولع في هواها أنا قلبي مولع وبثراها أنا قلبي مولع
قولوا ما شاء الله ولا إله إلا الله على البحرين سموا باسم قولوا ما شاء الله ولا إله إلا الله على البحرين
Welcome back, dear viewers, to our coverage of the elections. We continue with this live coverage and about national and international media's input about today's elections. We turn to Sarah Al-Break, joining us from the Elections Media Center. Hello, Sarah. What updates do you have for us from the Media Center?
Hello, Mohammed. Yes, we are coming to you from the Media Center where we were just updated on today's electoral process and what has happened until now by the President of the Legislation and Legal Opinion Commission, Chancellor Nawaf Abdullah Hamza, who updated us basically that everything is going as planned. Basically right now we see a lot of voters going to the public voting stations. Because basically it is easier there to put in the papers and to do the voting process over there, but there are long queues, as you might see on the live coverages that are happening. Also, we were updated on the fact that there are some information that was sent on messages and on social media, and that these should be ignored. And if anybody has any questions on the real uptake of how things are going, they should go to vote.bh or go to the Instagram of vote.bh, where the latest news is coming on. Also, on another note, we see a lot of the ministers and people from high-ranking positions handing in their votes, and that also can be seen on the social media. And basically, that's what we have until now. Again, we want to emphasize the point that if any information is needed on what is going on, and if there is anything that people want to talk about, they can go on vote.bh, where they have numbers, and on Instagram to ask their questions or get information on what they have questions about.
Sarah, indeed, you mentioned a point that's very important, and we need to stress here that there are a lot of spam messages, be it through text messages or social media channels, that basically tell people that they are not eligible to vote, and tells them not to go to the polling center. So we need to stress that, don't let anything or anyone stand between you and your democratic right of going out there and practicing your right to choose your representative. Sarah, just a quick question about the feel of the media center. What's the technical preparedness like? What are the different, where are the different outlets coming from? Is there a regional and international presence there as well?
Yes. We have regional, local, regional and international news agencies, whether they are newspapers, television or radio based, and vote.bh, or basically the whole commissions from the ministries, have taken care that the media center is fully equipped with the latest information, latest technologies. The updates are coming in from high-ranking officials. So it's basically a very busy hub over here, where every half an hour to hour so we get updates on what's happening, and the international newspapers and any news agencies that are here basically also got a feel of how transparent the whole position is. In a couple of minutes, we're actually going to be taken to one of the polling stations to be live there while people are handing in their vote, so even the journalists can feel how it goes.
Sarah Al-Break from the Media Center, thank you very much for this update, and we'll be back to you a little bit later in the day to get more updates. Thank you very much, Sarah. Now, with the 2018 parliamentary and municipal elections ongoing today, it is important to bear in mind the significance of taking part in the election process and practicing the democratic rights provided to the citizens by His Majesty King Hamad bin Isa Al Khalifa.
This election is cementing that relation from a constitutional legal aspect, where people, knowledgeable people from the community, are given the honor to participate in decision making in important issues that affect our future and the future of our young people. So it is so important to participate because of the benefits, but also to endorse His Majesty the King's initiatives to advance Bahrain to a higher platform.
I encourage all the Bahrainis, all the voters whom they can vote, to participate in their duty, to participate in their rights. This is their rights, this is their duty. I think Bahrain need them at this moment. Let us see how you are actually, coming forwards and participating your duty to serve Bahrain.
You are now empowered to give your voice, to have a representative under the dome of Parliament, and please vote. Do not listen to voices that tell you to boycott elections. After all, you need to vote, you need to give your voice to democracy, and just go out there and vote.
We are continuing with our live coverage of the parliamentary and municipal elections in Bahrain. Mr. Mazen, I mean, this is, we're approaching the end of our time, but one last question I want to, or a comment that I would like to request from you as a final message to the voters today who are going to the polling stations.
First of all, I'd like to thank you for having me here and trying to at least shed a few information about the municipal council. But I think what's important is that we need to look at the youth. I don't see enough youth participating in this year's election. I think it's high time they prepare themselves from now. We have another 4 years. I want the 30 to 40 to be participating in the election of the municipal council, because they have more energy, they have more, the younger generation around living in the area are the biggest percentage, and without that we will not reach, and they could be a good trainee ground to become next members of parliament in the future. Unfortunately, they always believe maybe they have other priorities, but being elected as a member of municipal council is an important thing to help enhance the area that you live in.
Mr. Mazen Al-Amran, Vice Chairman of the Capital Secretariat Council, thank you very much for agreeing to do this interview and for being here with us and shedding light and sharing insight on the whole electoral process. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Dear viewers, this brings us to the end of this segment, but not the end of our live coverage of the elections. Thank you so much for joining us, and we thank our guests for being part of our national coverage. Tune in, dear viewers, for more updates later today about this vital day in our kingdom's democratic process. It is our call and our duty to fulfill today. Thank you very much, and Hamid Shaban. Good afternoon.